Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching yet another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. It's Thursday night, and you know what that means. It's time for your TNA Event Center Wrestling Report. And now here's the man to give you that report, Mr. Eric M. Lima.
Thank you very much, Mr. Announcer, sir. Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. Episode 1599. We're one episode away from 1600 episodes. How's it going? I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Today is April. Here we go again. I'm botching up. April the 9th. August the 9th, 2024. August the 9th, 2024. I said April twice. And what? Like, stop myself saying it. I said April is August. August the 9th, 2024. 1:01 p.m. Boy, I'm never going to hear the end of that. It's like, Eric, you just botched that whole date up. I know. I'd probably botch up a real date if I was on one, but... Oh, man. Too funny. August the 9th, 2024. All kidding aside. 1:02 p.m. And I hate to start it off like this. As you know, it is a wrestling-related thing. As you know, we had a lot of wrestling legends in the past go before us. And unfortunately, I had the unfortunate news to report that Kevin Sullivan, who has probably one of the brightest minds when it comes to the psychological side of wrestling and of wrestling. He's a fellow Massachusetts native also. He's from Boston. But also one of these wrestling legends back in the 80s and 90s, especially during his time in WCW, when he was known as the Taskmaster. He was one-third of the Varsity Club. This man had one of the best rivalries in WCW with Chris Benoit, which is more real-life-like than anything else. And he ended up, I didn't want to mention it, but unfortunately, Kevin Sullivan has passed away at the age of 74 today. So my condolences and prayers to go out to his family, friends, and fans. And Kevin Sullivan is a wrestling legend that will be remembered for his brilliant mind in wrestling, and how I think he was the original Bray Wyatt before Bray Wyatt, or the original Undertaker before Undertaker. That sort of thing. When it comes to the psychological side of wrestling, Kevin Sullivan was the original, the OG in that department. And I know a lot of folks don't like what he stood for and all that. But he was a wrestling legend. Always plays mind games against his opponents, and back in the day. But unfortunately he passed away at the age of 74. Rest in peace, Kevin Sullivan. So I know there's some people out there are not fans that don't like Kevin Sullivan for whatever reason possible, but he did contribute to the sport of professional wrestling. Again, Kevin Sullivan, rest in peace at the age of 74. So the psychological, because he did bring up the psychological aspect of professional wrestling, how to go about it when it comes to creating characters and something like that. And that's what Kevin Sullivan did. And I know a lot of people that don't like him for whatever reason. I can understand, but like I said, I'm just going to pay my respects of his contribution to professional wrestling. So let's talk about, let's get off that. Okay? Let's get off that. Let's go talk about what happened on TNA Impact last night. As you know, Bound for Glory is about a couple of months away. I think Emergence is coming up, and they decided to have the system still not in a very good mood about Moose losing the title to in that six-way, and they vowed to get the belts back, and then Moose did address Mike Santana at that point, and Gia Miller interviewed Jonathan Gresham. Like, Gresham dropped the octopus gimmick and made a promise to made a promise to Kushida to wrestle a great matchup. And Kushida came out and, shook his hand. G.M. Miller did interview Johnson Grisham in that department. Santino Marella was talking to Mike Bailey about the Ultimate X at Emergence. The Ultimate X match is making its return. He says he'll be making Ultimate X qualifiers. And Mike Bailey says he'd like to get involved in this and test himself. One thing I like about Speedball Mike Bailey, he loves to test himself. Even though he's a champion, he could have stayed out of these matches and like the number one, have these qualifying matches like the number one contender could be the X Division champion. But I think Speedball Bailey loves challenges. Pushing the X Division means no limits at all. And probably he wants to live. He wants to live up to the what the X Division is all about. You gotta respect Speedball Mike Bailey. I like him a lot. Big fan of the guy. He's married to the lovely Veda Scott. I don't know. Somebody give Veda Scott a job in TNA, as his valet or a color commentator. I think Veda Scott needs to be in one of the big three organizations, either AEW, WWE, or TNA. I don't care. Veda Scott deserves some time in the spotlight. I think it's time to get her that. And for the first Ultimate X qualifiers, Mike Bailey will face his Speedball Mountain partner, Trent Seven and Jake Something. And Bailey won the matchup. So that means he will, he could have put in the X Division. Now, if he wasn't, if he didn't win the matchup, at least it was a if Bailey did not win the matchup, at least he could sit back and basically watch whoever fights for the number one. If Mike Bailey didn't, what I'm trying to say is, if Mike Bailey did not win the match, it would have been at least the number one contenders match for the X Division title. And now that Mike Bailey won, he'll probably put that title on the line in the Ultimate X match. So, and then Tasha Steelz addresses being the number one contender. Giselle Shaw interrupts her. And Marella decided to make another match because they fought Explosion. Tasha Steelz won. Giselle Shaw kind of objected to how Steelz won. So, and Marella decided to make another matchup. Hammerstone was talking to Marella about making an impact. And then Eric Young interrupts and confronts Hammerstone. Those two gentlemen might go one-on-one again. Who knows? Kushida went one-on-one with Jonathan Gresham. Kushida ended up winning the matchup. In a heck of a fight. ABC was addressing being three-time TNA Tag Team Champions, but Bailey talked to them and challenged them to a triple threat match and to qualify. And they said, we'll think about it. And then the last time it happened, we had a little bit of issues. We straightened it out. But it'd be great to wear double gold again. And they loved the fact of more gold. Meanwhile, Steph DeLander was in the hot tub waiting for her husband, PCO. Coolest dude on the block right now. And then she tried, she was on the phone. Oh, I can't go on the phone right now. I was like, and now remember at the wedding, Matt Cardona basically ruined it. So, and Knockout's title was on the line in open challenge. Jordan Grace says she'll face anybody. Rosemary came out to accept the challenge, and these two ladies went at it. I mean, Rosemary, she's a former Knockouts champ. She would love to get her hands on the title again. And as Rosemary and Jordan Grace come out, George Iceman, the personal concierge of Asbury Elegance, came out, and Asbury Elegance decided to attack both ladies with a kendo stick. Referee just caught her. No contest in the matchup. I was like, yeah, I had a feeling she was going to ruin that matchup, but then I'm sure Rosemary would love to rearrange Asbury Elegance's face, and so will Jordan Grace. I would not be surprised, and wouldn't put it past me that Santino Marella could make this thing into a triple threat match in Emergence. Then then Josh Alexander comes out, crowd's still booing him, and he explains to him why. He said, explains to him why he did what he did, but then all of a sudden Nick Nemeth comes out, and then all of a sudden just knocks Josh Alexander's lights out. I'm like, eh boy. And now Santino Marella has made a match next week that Nemeth Alexander for the title. Frankie Kazarian not happy about it, confronts Santino Marella, says he better make this right. I say this. I say Frankie Kazarian does deserve a shot. I say the winner of that match faces Kazarian at Emergence. Give him that matchup. And then Ultimate X Qualifier 2, Zachary Wentz, who is coming off a loss for the NXT Tag Team titles at at the Great American Bash, and also coming off of a heartbreak of being betrayed by Wes Lee against Casey Navarro and NXT's Dante Chen, which is the first time foray in TNA. I think Dante Chen. I love the partnership between NXT and TNA. This is a good thing going, and I hope the main rosters can come out and say, hey, you know. And Zachary Wentz won the matchup, so awesome for Zachary Wentz. Steph DeLander decided was in the bedroom waiting for her, man. Matt Cardona, this guy is a creep. The dude is married to Chelsea Green, and he says, I want to talk to you. And Chelsea Green just shuts the door. Steph DeLander. Steph DeLander was waiting for her man, getting ready for her honeymoon with PCO. Matt Cardona comes in. And Matt Cardona is made an enemy for life in PCO. He attacked PCO, don't mess with my property. And Steph DeLander tweeted out, I'm not your property, mate. And I'll tell you one thing, you're delusional. And I'm telling you, I'm glad that Steph DeLander stood up for herself, man. And I'm telling you right now, Matt Cardona has made the biggest mistake ticking off PCO. I don't know why Matt Cardona is doing this. I mean, he's a jerk on the planet. I mean, the dude is married to Chelsea Green. Stick with your woman, Matt Cardona. Don't be messing with Steph DeLander. Stick with your woman. What are you, Diamond Dallas Page back in 2021? 2001, excuse me? Man, Matt Cardona's a little bit crazy. He's crazy attacking PCO. And I'll tell you one thing right now. When PCO gets his hands on him, I think Matt Cardona's going to end up in the pine box, if you know what I mean. If I were PCO, I'd bust him up, man. Ruin your honeymoon with a gorgeous woman like Steph DeLander? Come on. Ugh. That's a monster you just messed with. Oh, my goodness. If somebody like Matt Cardona disrespected the honeymoon for me, I would smack him upside his friggin' head. Kicked him out. Say, security, show this guy the door. What a dork. What a dork. I think Joe Hendry's right. And now you're rich. Will you always be Edge's bitch? Excuse my language on that one, but can't resist a little Joe Hendry. Speaking of Joe Hendry, say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. I love Joe Hendry. You know what? I wonder if Brandon, we interviewed a couple of TNA guys already. Why don't we try to get Joe Hendry on for Rant and Rave? Oh, that would be great. I would love to see Joe Hendry. Anyways, Joe Hendry went one-on-one with Wolfgang of Gallus. And Hendry did pick up the victory over the Gallus boys. In fact, Joe Hendry is on a roll. In fact, Joe Hendry, I got to check my WWE notebook. Great American Bash Night 2. Hendry, yep. 3 of the 4 members of Gallus. I mean, 2 of the 3 members of Gallus. Excuse me. Let me just, let's see what we got here. Joe Hendry. Let's see. Joe Hendry. Yep. So, yeah, Joe Hendry's got 2. Joe Hendry's got 2 of the 3 members of Gallus. I'm going to try to see. Let's see if I'm trying. I always try to, let's see. Joe Hendry. Let's see. Joe Hendry picked up victories over 2 of the 3 members of Gallus. Mark Coffey's the only one left, and if I were Mark Coffey, I would put my head on a swivel against the prestigious one, the local hero, Joe Hendry. Now, y'all don't know what's up with Joe Hendry, why he's trending, why he's the man. Watch his stuff in ICW. Trust me, you'll be glad you did. And then at the end, Santana and Moose were brawling, and everybody, including the system, were trying to separate these 2 guys. I'm telling you something right now. Moose has ran his mouth, and I'll tell you one thing: Santana's going to shut him up. But I like Moose because we interviewed. He was our second guy interviewed for Rant and Rave for this year of 2024. But I'll tell you one thing, man: Moose better be careful because Mike Santana, one tough dude. You don't want to mess with him at that point. So, I say my outrageous moment was Matt Cardona trying to be a buzzkill for PCO. Man, you've got a beautiful woman like, like Steph DeLander, and you married her, and you're on a honeymoon with her, and you got your buzz killed by some idiot who claims that Steph DeLander's his property. I would have busted up Matt Cardona, smacked him upside his head, and go, dude, stick with your woman. Stick with your woman, Chelsea Green, who resembles Pauline from Donkey Kong. Okay? All right, then. That's all the time we have on the show, episode 1599 of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. TNA Event Center from the 8th of August, 2024. I almost said April again. Anyways. I'm cracking myself up. I'm sorry. So, what's on the next episode? The game of strategy, luck, knowledge, and daring. Bullseye. It's coming up next on this channel. So, until the next episode comes rolling around, Mr. Announcer, take us home.
That is all for today's episode. This is your announcer speaking for Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. A Big Beefy E, doing for Bob Saget Productions, and in association with a Raven Bofa Telepictures and Distribution. Thank you for watching today's episode. Tune in next time for another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. Goodbye for now.